welcome back to another video. I know it's been forever since I've made one, but you know, girl keeps busy. I did, however, want to come on here and make another video because I do love it, A, and B, since it's almost Pride Month, I wanted to give you guys, you know, an option for Pride, a drag option in case you're brand new to drag makeup, that isn't super complicated, but will still look awesome. And yeah, so that's kind of the goal today. I already have my eyebrows glued down. If you really want to know how to do that, let me know. I can do a tutorial. There is one on my TikTok, and they're also all over YouTube. But yeah, I'm gonna finish my eyebrows and then I'll be right back. So my goal here with this video is to make the video that I wish I had when I first started drag makeup. There's 1,000,001 tutorials out there, but nothing that ever really like addressed specifically what I was having trouble with. I would say the two biggest things were eyeliner, because I have very hooded eyes, and just how to cut the crease, what that means, what that looks like. A lot of it was eye-based. I kind of got everything else, but the eyes were really difficult for me. So hopefully I can give you guys some really good advice. And you can start your drag makeup journey this Pride. I think one of the biggest things I struggled with was trying to make everything look perfect. It's not gonna look perfect, especially if this is one of your first times doing this. I've been doing drag makeup for 2 years now, and that by no means makes me an expert, and I still make mistakes and I still screw it up. You know, things like having texture on your eyebrows. Everyone has texture on their eyebrows, even if you think they don't, they do. If you're looking at a photograph of a professional queen, they don't have texture. It was photoshopped out. So things like that. So try not to be too harsh on yourself. And also remember that drag makeup is supposed to be seen from far away. So everything close up, any makeup, any celebrity with tons of makeup on, you're gonna see texture and you're gonna see makeup lines and things like that. So just keeping that in mind, that doesn't have to look, you know, blurred and perfect while you're looking in the mirror, because no one's does. Okay, now that the eyebrows are covered, the first thing I do is start with the mask of the face. So I do my eyes first. I find it easier to do it that way. Otherwise, I feel like if I do the whole face and then mess the eyes up, which to me is like the hardest part, then I'm kind of screwed. But if I start with the eyes, then once I kind of get them where I want, I can do the rest of the face. After the mask is done, I do the eyebrows. I found that if I don't do the eyebrows, sometimes my eye makeup tends to get huge and then my eyebrows go way up here. Unless it's like a aesthetic thing, like a Peaches Christ thing where you really want the eyebrows super high. I find that a lot of drag queens when they're beginning, or drag artists when they're beginning, draw their eyebrows too high, and I'm very much guilty of that. In fact, I was looking at old pictures of me yesterday and my eyebrows were like here. One trick that I have a really good eyebrow hack on my TikTok. It's got a lot of views, shockingly. However, I've recently discovered an amazing hack for eyebrows. I hate to be the person who's like, you have to order it on Amazon, but it's so fucking worth it. I found these eyebrow stencils on Amazon. You can get an entire box of them. They're called Eyebrow Stencil by Linking Home. Sounds legit. I don't remember how much they were. I want to say they were like $9, but you get a ton of them, and they're so easy, because what I love about these is you just snap them on your forehead, like that. You place them wherever you want them. I always like to incorporate a little bit of my real brow. So like this is where my real brows sit right here. I like to kind of go up a little bit, but you can still see like the top of my real eyebrow right here. I kind of like that because it makes it look a little more realistic, and it kind of gives me a good foundation of where to start. So these are amazing. I love these things. I will say they're all a little bit small for a drag, so they're a really good base, and I usually end up extending the ends and, you know, filling in hairs and things like that. But for a base, they're awesome, and it takes so much less time. Another thing on Amazon that I love are these Mehron Paradise paint pots. They're face and body makeup. They come in like an array of different colors. I only have black and white. I use the white to cut my crease a lot, and I use the black for eyeliner, as well as for my eyebrows. You can do your eyebrows with eyeshadow. You can do your eyebrows with whatever you want. Some people use contour. I have black eyebrows in drag, so I like to use this. So basically all you gotta do is take a little paintbrush. These are water activated, so I just sprayed a little bit of water on it. You don't have to like douse it or anything like that. And then with the stencil make sure it's even where you want it to be, and then you just fill it in. I will say if you're using eyeshadow to be careful, because I have done that before, and then I get like eyeshadow like here and here. Which isn't a big deal, but it's just kind of annoying. And then yeah, I know a lot of queens will fade the ends of their eyebrows, but I find that by the time, you know, you have all of your like concealer on and all your foundation and your powders and all that, you kind of naturally end up fading the inner corners, like the inner eyebrows. So I don't usually worry about it here. And yeah, I'm just painting this on. It helps when you're using this too to pat it into the eyebrows to make sure you get in all the little crevices where the glue is and stuff. And because it's water activated, you just have to kind of wait a second for it to dry. I like Groucho Marx right now. Love that for me. And then once you're done, you just very carefully and gingerly pull them off, and eyebrows. So once you have eyebrows on, as you can see, they're not perfect. The stencil doesn't make them perfect, but you can just go in and clean them up with highlight. So what I like to use for highlight, I love a big bright white highlight. I also feel like this is a good time to mention that you probably saw from the thumbnail, this is not like, you know, super femme, like, you know, makeup. This is drag makeup. I love big makeup. So just a disclaimer. So I like to take a little like concealer brush like this. I use the Mehron, again, another Mehron product. Clown White Light. It comes in this like giant, like, I've had this for like over a year and it's barely gone. I love this stuff for highlight, and for, you know, things like cleaning out my eyebrows. It doesn't make for great, it doesn't cut the crease very well because you have to set it with powder. But it can be used, I have used it before. So I just take a little small flat concealer brush. I'm not trying to make these look perfect, I'm just trying to kind of clean up where there are like, you know, imperfections. Like that. Ooh. And then once they are cut, ooh, love that. Once they are cleaned up, I just take the brush and kind of pat it and blend it into the eye, like that. And then this is the foundation I have for my eyeshadow. And of course, I will set this with powder later, but I don't do it quite yet. There we go. As far as eyeshadow go, I think that eyeshadow is the one thing that's worth spending a little bit of money on. It doesn't have to be a ton, but I find that drugstore eyeshadows are just not that great. They're not very pigmented. They don't really, you know, that's not true. You know what? I retract that statement. Please hold. I take back my previous statement because I have found these little e.l.f. palettes. They're like, I think like $5. These are great. These have great pigment. You know, I always get one that has a black because you always want a black eyeshadow. But like this one is a black and like a few neutrals and then a sparkly. So I've done where this is the main eyeshadow. I blended out with that, cut the crease with that, and then use the black, you know, to smoke everything out. And they're very pigmented and they're very, very affordable. However, I think that if you're gonna go, you know, with a nice big palette for drag, I have two recommendations. I love this Carnival, Be Perfect Carnival XL Pro palette. I'm pretty sure they have more now, but this is the one that I have. I got it a couple years ago. As you can see, it's very well loved. But every color you could possibly imagine, plus there's a white and a black. Again, they're basically empty. Any good eyeshadow palette for drag, you want a white and a black, in my opinion. That way you can set your cut crease, you can do your highlight, you can smoke out your eyeliner, all of that. This is from, I don't even know what this is called. It's called the Take Me Back to Brazil palette from BH Cosmetics. I got this one on Amazon. Again, it was like 20 bucks, I think. I'm not sure if they still have it, but this one is fantastic. Again, an array of colors. I love that there's like, you know, a dark green, a light green, and a lighter green. Like, it really helps with the blending. It kind of takes like the guesswork out of it. Also, it comes with a white and a black, as you can see, very well loved. You can see the mirror is cracked. Hi, yes, cracked mirror. I love this palette, so I'm probably gonna use this one today. Again, you only need one palette. I have like 50, but you really only need one. If it's got a lot of colors, if it's got a black and a white, you're good. You're solid. You're good. You're good. Okay, so to start the eye makeup, and I'm gonna try to explain this as best as I can, because again, this is like the thing that I struggled with the most and couldn't find good information on. So basically what you're doing with drag makeup, at least the way I do it, is you're trying to make your eyes bigger and more exaggerated. The way you do that is to overdraw everything. So where I have right here, this is my eyebrow. This is my human eyebrow. that's where I start my eyeshadow. So if this was like a magical drag world, this is where this part right here is this part right here on my natural eye, if that makes sense. So I'm basically just moving everything up. And the way I do that is through a couple different colors of eyeshadow. I usually stick to one color. I don't usually do like, you know, multiple colors. So today I'm gonna do blue. Blue's kind of like my classic. I love a blue eyeshadow. So I start with this palette. I'm gonna go in with this, as you can see, the blue is like all used. I'm gonna go in with this deep blue right here. It almost looks black. And I'm gonna use a packing brush. So it's a brush that's not super long and pretty thick. Brushes, you can get them anywhere. You know, I've got, this is, you know, these are Trixie brushes, which are amazing and I highly recommend. But you don't need to spend a ton of money. e.l.f. has great ones. Oh God, what's that company called? Revolution? I can't remember, but drugstore ones are great. I always recommend a dense packing brush, a fluffy brush for blending, like a smaller, denser brush for like smoking out your black, and then like a flat concealer brush like I use to do my eyebrows. And that's all you really need. You don't need 1,001 million brushes. Maybe, you know, a blush brush like this, which comes in handy. You can use for contour and blush. Just remember to like wipe them off. I have like gross cotton towels here that I use, but you can use paper towel or whatever you want. Just make sure you get the pigment off as you're going, and you only need like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 brushes. So you know what? I'm gonna stick to that, and I'm gonna use only 5 brushes. Okay, so I'm gonna take this really dense brush, dip it into this very dark blue, and I'm gonna start again where my real eyebrow is. And I'm not gonna rub back and forth because this is still cream over glued eyebrows, so it will smear. And I'm just going to gently start packing in that color. I'm not swiping, I'm doing it very gentle. And as you can see, it already kind of starts to build a shadow. So my eyelid went from here to here. And I'm just packing it in. I usually go for, I do my eye makeup a couple different ways. This is like the most, I would say, basic way. It's not very complicated. There's no like huge eyeliner or anything like that. You know, this is the Kiss version, the keep it simple, stupid version. So I just kind of follow the shape of my real eye down here. And then when you get to the end, you can either bring it down, but I like to bring it out a little bit, kind of swoop it out like that. So now I'm doing the other eye, color on, make sure you tap it to get the excess off. Also, doing the eye makeup first really helps reduce the risk of fallout. So like if you have a full face of makeup on and you're doing bright blue eyeshadow and you don't get the excess off and it falls on your makeup, you have blue tinged makeup now because it's almost impossible to get rid of. Beautiful. Now, sometimes I use 3 different colors or 3 different shades of blue. I'm gonna only try to do 2 today just to keep it really, really simple. So once I have this dark base, but see how like it already kind of makes my eyes look bigger? Someone I saw on Instagram or TikTok or something, some drag queen said that consider your eyeshadow like contour. Like that's basically what it is. You're creating shadows and dimension with your eyes to make them look bigger. So that was very helpful for me. So I've dipped into this dark for the beginning. I'm gonna go with, you want a lighter color for the second color? I think this is too light. I'm gonna go with this like I don't know, like a teal almost. On this fluffier brush. I'm gonna get the pigment on there. I'm gonna dust off the excess. And then right where the dark meets the white, I'm gonna gently, side to side, start to blend these colors in. I think there's a misconception that like eyeshadow can go really fast, and it can, but I find the best eyeshadow looks that I have done are the ones where I kind of take my time and really concentrate on blending the colors together. To be completely honest, I feel like this could probably use like a deeper transition color, but if you just kind of pack the color on and can, you know, very gently side to side. You can do side to side with this because it's not a super dense brush. Just keep it on that line and back and forth. You'll really start to see the colors blend. All right, so I've got the dark and the light. Then I like to go back in and just kind of reinforce the color. So I'll go back into that dark really quick, And just gently pat the dark back in, just a little bit. See how that kind of reinforces it? Not a ton. You don't want to like add like a ton of product to the brush, just a little bit. And then same thing with the lighter. I go back in and just gently blend everything together one more time. So you want as much dimension as you can possibly get from your colors, especially because we're only using 2 colors here. You know, we're not doing like a huge gradient or anything like that, which you definitely can. And I have done before, but I find this just kind of keeps everything a little more low maintenance if you're just using 2 colors. Okay, the next part is cutting the crease. And this, I'm not going to lie, was the hardest thing for me to grasp during my journey into drag makeup. To cut the crease, I find it's the easiest. I've used concealer, I've used this Clown White, I've used these guys, these like cream sticks. All work, most because they're cream based have to be set with powder. This is what I use. I like to use the most. This is the Paradise Makeup Pot by Meron on, again, Amazon. Super convenient. I think they're like $8 maybe a little more expensive than that, but they're not super expensive. So wet it. I use my little flat concealer brush that I did for under the eyebrows. And so basically what you're doing is you're taking your eyelid, so my natural eyelid is here. Again, you're shifting it up. So it looks like your eye is bigger than it actually is. I have very hooded eyes, so what I like to do, and this is like a trick that I've learned, you know, watching a million YouTube videos, is you take the color that you're using to cut your crease, and you put it on your natural lid like that, and then you look up, you know, by your head, look up, you do this, you look insane, and then it should leave a mark right there. See, it left a mark right there? I don't know if you can see it right there. Ooh, little mark. That's the minimum of where you want to draw your crease. Because if you do it any smaller than that, if you have hooded eyes like me, you're not going to be able to see it. So then I just kind of like to roughly sketch out from where that dot is. I go from the inner corner up and kind of flick it out at the end. You can go a lot higher with it if you want. I have gone a lot higher. I'm actually gonna go a little bit higher because I feel like this is a little too low. But it's easier to start, it's easier to start small and build up than it is like if you like make your cut crease gigantic, then you kind of are stuck with a giant cut crease. You can't really go back after that. Ooh. So another piece of advice of something I like to do is, you know, periodically I like to go check my makeup in a different mirror. Like I have a mirror in front of me, I have the camera, and I sometimes like to just like get up and go into the bathroom and look at it and see what I think and kind of adjust from there. So I noticed that looking straight on, you can barely see this cut crease, so I'm gonna go higher. You can keep it as low as you want as long as it's above that, right at that line or that dot that we did. You know, it'll definitely give you an exaggerated look, but I want to go bigger with mine. So I'm going to adjust and go a little bit bigger. Actually a lot. Go up all the way here. Like again, I am not the one to come to for like super soft feminine makeup. If you want to be a clown, watch my videos. There we go, that's good. Okay, also what I love about this paint pot is this dries down matte. So no matter how like liquidy, you don't want to make it too liquidy, otherwise it'll run while you're applying it. But it's kind of got like the consistency of, you can see it. Ooh. It's kind of got the consistency of like acrylic paint, but then it dries down really matte, which I love. And of course, we'll set it with eyeshadow, and then I just kind of like to draw in the rest of the eye, kind of stop where I drew the little swoopy, and there we go. I cut crease. So I'm gonna try it on the other side, and we will see how successful I am. Another quick tip is to have tissues handy, because if you're like me, you will probably accidentally paint your entire eyeball white, and you're gonna want something to clean it up. Okay, once I have them both drawn on, I kind of like to, you know, look straight ahead. They don't have to match perfectly. Like, you don't have to worry about like extreme symmetry here, because by the time the rest of the makeup goes on and the lashes and all of that, like, you don't need to worry about it. But I do want to just even them out a little bit. This one's a little bit smaller now, and you'll find that as you go, like, you'll do one eye and then the other, and sometimes one will then look a little bit smaller or bigger, and you just adjust from there. I noticed that like this inner corner is filled in a little more, so I'm just gonna go in with some of the white and just kind of make a match. Don't have like, I mean, have expectations of how your makeup's gonna look, but like things will go differently no matter how hard you try. So don't get married to like one thing. Don't, you know, get obsessed with trying to repeat everything, because I think that was also kind of one of my mistakes, is I always tried to repeat exactly what I had done before, or repeat one side just like the other, and like It's impossible. It's impossible to do that. So I have like the same techniques, but I'm also, you know, willing to adjust as needed. So keep that in mind. So once this is done, we are all good to go. I'm gonna grab some white eyeshadow. I use the Sugar Pill, but again, if you get this palette off of Amazon, it has a white in it. Mine's just destroyed because I'm disgusting. I'm gonna wipe off the blue on my towel here as much as I can. I will say when you're only using a few brushes, it's really, really important to get as much of the pigment off of your brush as you can. I like to, you know, wipe it on the towel and then just kind of on the back of my hand, make sure that there's no like lingering pigment. I mean, your brush will be staying, like this one's stained blue. I don't wash them in a while, which is important, wash your brushes. But then I'm gonna take some of this white and I'm first going to very gently just set this white eyeshadow. Now you can do whatever color you want. You don't have to use white. To cut your crease, you don't have to use white. You can use whatever color pigment you want. You can do it white and then set it with different color eyeshadows. There is literally no rules. Literally, which is kind of the problem. But I, for the sake of simplicity, use white. I will sometimes use a different color, but in this case, I use white. All right, and then once that is good, a little more white, dust off the excess, pinch it so it's skinny, and I then like to set under the eyebrow and kind of blend in the white with the blue, like that. Ooh. Okay, now that that is done, I am going to now add the black. This can be done one of two ways. For this look, I don't do huge eyeliner. I will line this in a little bit, but what I use is eyeshadow to create the illusion of eyeliner and to like deepen the look. You can do this one of two ways. You can use a board, or it's like there's like a wig cap thing, and you can do it this way. I don't do that. I just take the black and kind of slap it on, and then I use a makeup wipe to like whoosh, cut it. So you'll see. So I take that big thick brush from earlier, wipe off the excess as much as I can. I dip it into the black, tap it off, and then I start right here. See where that little dot is, kind of like at the end of my real eye, and I just pack it into the corner. Packety pack pack McPackersons, and we're packing. A little more black. We're packing. And then once it's packed into the eye, up the corner, I then bring it up, kind of into an eyeliner shape without actually doing real eyeliner. So it gives the shape that we want without all of the fuss. Like that. Beautiful. And I just keep packing it in. I will then very, very gently, very light touch, just kind of take it into the inner corner here, just to kind of deepen that corner. And I'm not using like a ton of product. Like that. All right, so the black is on both eyes. See how that just really deepens the eyes and adds more dimension? You could stop here if you wanted, like this is completely fine. I'm not going to. So once the black is on, I take off, you know, some of the black off the brush as much as I can. Then I'm gonna dip into the lighter shade blue that we used here. Tap it, and then I'm gonna blend the black and blue together like this to kind of create a gradient. And I'm just tapping right where the black meets the white, and it creates a really nice gradient. Going back in, just very gently tapping, making sure I get the makeup in all those little crevices in my eyes. I have very wrinkly eyes for some reason. Not cute. Ooh. All right, so once those are blended in as much as I want them to be, I once again will take the white, our fluffy brush, tippity tap tap, and just kind of blend in the blue with the white. All right, that's pretty much it. I went it back in a little bit and reinforced the black just a little bit, because that's kind of where you get your depth from. There's a lot more things you could do here. Like sometimes I will take a white eyeliner and like really crisp up this line, or I'll take a black eyeliner and kind of like, you know, deepen it up here and blend it into the black. I'm not gonna do that today. I wanna keep things really, really simple, but those are options that you can do. Like I mentioned before, you can keep it like this. It's kind of like blown out, like, ooh, which I'm kind of into. I usually, you know what, you can keep it like this, but I'm gonna show you what I do sometimes. Grab a makeup wipe. Shout out to Kirkland's signature brand. Who doesn't love Costco? And you take a makeup wipe, and I just take it right under my eye like this. Like very gently, I'm not really touching anything. And then I just swoop, and boom. Just like that. And that kind of helps clean up. That just kind of helps clean up the eyeshadow and gives it a little more of a snatched look. And again, we'll go back in and like fill this all in when we're doing the under eyes. As far as the top, see that kind of snatched everything? Love that. Then I take the makeup wipe and just kind of clean up under here. Like I said, we will clean up these little like splotchy marks when we're doing the under eyes. But for the most part, the top's done. We'll also add eyeliner when we do the under eyes. But yeah, those are done. So onto the face. All right, onto the face. First thing I like to do is take my little concealer brush, take a little bit of foundation, and just clean up my eyebrows from the top. As you can see, this one's a little bit wonky. So I'm just gonna take the foundation, just kind of even it out like that. Much better. This one doesn't really need a whole lot, but I'm just gonna, for the sake of continuity. There we go. Some people use white, sometimes I do as well. Today's just foundation. Once that's done, a little more foundation on my sponge, and then I just start slapping it on. I forgot to use primer, so that's fun. Primer. I should have put primer on first thing, I just forgot. So, before you do anything, use primer. I like the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer because I use primer primarily to fill in my pores. I have giant pores, years of, you know, acne has really just enlarged my pores. So I like to get it in there, fill in the holes as much as I can. So I really concentrate it around like here, like under my eyes. And then I would normally put it in my forehead, but I already have foundation up there, so I'm not gonna worry about it. All right, let that dry for a second, and then we will go in with foundation. Okay, foundation. Once the primer's on, just take your beauty blender and just pound it in. I do not do under my eyes because I will put that Mayron Clown White there for highlight. So I don't like love to double stack makeup, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. So I just pound it in, really, as they say, beat the mug. Don't forget to do the ears, especially if you have like, you know, a lot of people's ears are red for whatever reason all the time. If you find that that's the case, don't forget to do your ears so everything matches. What I love about this foundation is it's super full coverage, but it's not super thick. Like it doesn't feel like I'm slathering on like a ton of makeup onto my face, if that makes sense. Again, I don't really put any makeup here, foundation here, because I will put highlight there. I think I was watching a Got Mick tutorial, and she goes like this, and then pounds the makeup in to like cover the pores, and it does work. If Got Mick says do it, then I'm doing it. Don't forget under your nose. I always forget under my nose. And if you can't tell, I have a beard. I'm a bearded queen. We'll address that later. But for now, you don't have to be like too ginger with the makeup. You don't have to like, you know, avoid the beard because we're gonna color it in anyway, so. All right, and then once the foundation is on, it's all blended, we then move to highlight. Like I said before, I love a really bright white highlight. So I take that concealer brush and I do it all under my eyes like this. I kind of wipe the brush as I go so I don't get too much foundation in the white. And then I kind of use this to kind of like whoosh, define that cut or that, you know, the snatchedness of the eye makeup. And just under the eye, you don't have to be like too precious about it except for right here. Kind of making a triangle shape, you know, a loose, very loose triangle. Like so. And then I do my whole nose because I have a very specific way that I do my nose contour. You don't have to do this, but I think it's easier. And then up. Again, you don't have to be like super, just make sure you don't get it too much on your eyeshadow because that can be a pain in the ass. And then on the forehead, like that, I kind of make a upside down triangle again. And then I do the nose, the chin, under my nose. And then sometimes, because I do have a beard, I will do like the beard contour or the highlight. I'm probably not going to do that today. So I'm like in between, I'm like not super shaved, but not super long, so I don't know what to do. All right, once that's done, take your beauty blender, same one. You don't need, some queens have like separate beauty blenders. I follow Painted by Spencer on Instagram, TikTok. YouTube. And he's a professional makeup artist in LA, and he uses the same blending brush or sponge for everything to kind of help make everything cohesive, and I think that's a great idea. So I use the same one. So I like to keep that harsh line and then blend in below. If you don't want to use such a stark white, you can use, any concealer. I love the e.l.f. concealers. The camo concealers are fantastic. They come in like 1,000 million different shades. As long as the highlight, I think the rule I've heard is you want your concealer to be at least like 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. So as long as it's, not the exact same color as your foundation, it's a little bit lighter. And then this is where I was mentioning before the eyebrows, like I kind of already just naturally get the ends of the eyebrows with my highlights. That's why I don't really usually fade them out. And I will go in one more time to reinforce the eyebrows once everything's powdered and stuff. If you happen to get some of your eyeshadow, you can just take, you get highlight in your eyeshadow and it makes it less colorful, which I do all the time because I'm not very ginger about it. I just take my fluffy brush, get some of the crap off of it, go in with that lighter color, not a ton, and just kind of fix like that. Beautiful. You don't have to like go in and like do all the dark and stuff like that. Just a little bit of the blue. Just a happy accident. Like that, we're saved. All right, once that's all blended in and you look insane, it's time for cream contour. Some queens just do powder contour, but I find that underpainting kind of helps reinforce everything, so I'm a huge fan of it. I love these little e.l.f. pots. They're e.l.f. putty bronzers. I'm gonna be so real, I don't know if they still make them. I think they do, but these are like a couple years old. I have them in a bunch of different shades, but I usually just use the darkest shade that I have because once you powder everything, it kind of lightens up anyway. And yeah, what you want to do is, so basically what you're doing with highlight and contour is you're creating shadows and creating depth and kind of sculpting your face. I do a really harsh, kind of like Trixie Mattel-ish contour that I really like because my face is really round, so I like to kind of carve it as much as I can. As you can see with just this highlight on, I look like an egg, like a noseless egg. So I take the little concealer brush, wipe it off, and then I start like kind of, also kind of depends what I'm feeling that day, but I'll usually take it kind of like between like the earlobe and like whatever this part of the ear is. So the top of the ear right here, and just draw kind of just towards my mustache. I will go in and like cut it with highlighter when I'm done. That kind of just gives me an idea of where I want to go with it. So from the top, or like the top of the earlobe, I guess, down towards my mustache is kind of where I start. Like that. Then I just kind of, again, make a triangle and fill it in. Contour and highlighting is all about the triangles, apparently. Shapes. Love shapes. Shapes are fun. And I will also suck in my cheeks and see where the natural shadows kind of are and fill those in. And again, you don't have to be like super ginger about it because we will be blending all of this in. I'll bring it up. And then I kind of dot the forehead. Because I'm a bearded drag queen, I like to emphasize here. It kind of makes my chin like look rounder and like, I don't know, more emphasized. And then for my contour on my nose, I kind of keep it simple and just do like that. And then I blend that in, and then I will add highlight to it after. But I don't I used to do the triangle nose, which I love, don't get me wrong. But this is just easier. So I just kind of make like another triangle, like that. And then once you look sufficiently insane, take your beauty blender and blend. I usually blend the contour up because I will end up cutting this anyway, so it doesn't need to go down. But yeah, then you just kind of blend in the white and the brown. You can make that fun face if you want. There's a drag queen in San Francisco called Beardyancé, I believe is what their name is. And he's also they're also a bearded queen, and I've taken a lot of inspiration from them as far as like, you know, what a bearded queen can look like. Also, Gabriel the Queen on Instagram and TikTok has kind of helped make me feel like just because you have a beard doesn't mean you can't, you know, serve a look. Okay, once that's all blended and you look insane still, I clean out the little concealer brush, take my highlight, load up the brush, and then I will cut here. I could probably save time and be a little more conscious with my contour, but who cares? So then I will take this and cut it like straight across like that. Because I like a little bit more of a, like I said, a Trixie Mattel-esque. Really want to carve my face to give the illusion that I have more cheekbone than I actually do in real life. Like that. And then I just kind of blend it down. And again, once I powder, this will all kind of be subtler. Because it does look crazy. It also helps to look like straight on into a mirror when you're doing this. See how it like gave me like instant cheekbones? Love that. All over it. Oh. Okay, once that's done, we're gonna powder. I use Coty Airspun. It's grandma powder, whatever. I got this on Amazon. I got like 2 of them for like $7. So Amazon, I think they have them at Walmart. I think they have them at CVS and Walgreens, or some of them do at least. I just take my little triangle puff here and just go in. I once heard that you want to powder and like smack the powder in enough that you barely have to wipe any away. That's what I do. I just smack it into my head. Just smacky, smacky, smack. Laying it down. Going hard. So really just beat the face with the powder. I like to get it in all the nooks and crannies. But see how it kind of like, it just tones everything down so you don't look as crazy? I mean, yeah, I still look insane, but once everything is powdered, so I lied, you're gonna need like another like clean brush, fluffy brush like this, and just kind of wipe away the excess. Like I said, you should be pounding it in so hard that there isn't a ton to wipe away. But there we go. There's already some dimension on my face, as you can see. If I stand back, ooh, ooh, brr. That's crazy. All right, then After that's done, because I just added so much powder into my face, I'll take a little bit of setting spray. Any setting spray will do. I don't really know if setting spray works. This isn't a makeup kit that I got, it's Inglot, but I've used everything from NYX to e.l.f. to kimchi, and I don't really know if it's doing anything, but I like to kind of rehydrate everything. Ooh. This also smells, I hate this setting powder. It smells so bad. It's like a fan. Fans are also a nice option to have. Helps dry everything quickly. All right, now that we've powdered, we need to bring some of the dimension back to face using contour. I love this NYX Professional Makeup Contour Kit. Mine's like busted. It's not super expensive. I think I got it on Amazon. I've also seen it at the drugstore. I've seen it at Ulta. It's great, I love it. So we're gonna take our contour brush. We're going to wipe off the blush so we don't have, which honestly a little bit of blush in your contour. Not a bad idea. All right, so we're just gonna take this, I'm gonna rub it off, beautiful. All right, so I like to go in with like the second deepest shade here. Load up my brush. And this is where I take some kind of card or something like with some heft to it. I line it up right there where the line is from the highlight. And this is where I start to stamp in the contour. And I just stamp it in. I don't rub, I just stamp. Ooh, and there we go, see? How much dimension that added? I don't think that dimension would be there if we hadn't done the creams. So I just, again, in circles and I'm stamping, just kind of up and down where the line is. I don't really bring it forward, I kind of keep it back and along the line. Ooh! And then I like to bring it up here. There is a lot of blush on this, so I am getting a little bit of blush in this that I don't actually mind. So a lot of queens will contour here. I don't because I have a beard and I color my beard in, so that kind of counts as contour. So I don't do that. But if you feel so inclined, you can do that. Ooh. Love that, okay. And then I will take just like a little corner of the brush and just do my nose. It's kind of up and down like that. Because again, I do like a weird nose contour. Gorgina. Then, what I've done with that, I take this darkest shade here, load up my brush, and just kind of place it into the pocket of the cheek a little bit, just to add more depth. Up a little bit here. And yeah. A little bit down here, a little bit there. And we're good. All right, now for powder highlight, I have two options. I will either use, in fact, I mostly use the Ben Nye Super White. Excuse me. Creates a very, very white highlight, which I love. However, I also love this Maybelline Fit Me powder in Fair, because it is very light, and it's accessible at the drugstore. So I'm gonna use this today. So I like to load up my little triangle puff. And I'm gonna bake with this. So first I'm gonna put it right under my eyes and kind of like line up my nose like that. Press it in. Like that, and along, up like that. Ooh, just like I did with the paint, or the creams. Same thing here, line it up at the nose, corner of the eye, press it in, and then under the eye and up, like that. Ooh, see how it adds like so much dimension? I like to do it on my chin, my forehead. I like the triangle because it just kind of adds the exact shape that I want. Then I will take it and right where the highlight is on my cheeks, just kind of drag it along like that to again add more definition. And then I will let that set for like a few minutes. It's kind of soak in everything, and then I will brush it off with a brush. While I wait for this to bake, I'm going to fix my eyebrows a little bit. So I'm gonna lie because I'm gonna need another brush. But I use this super skinny angled brush for my eyebrows. And this is actually a craft brush. I got it, I think, Joanne Fabrics, which 10 out of 10 would recommend. Look how skinny that is. And so I'll just dip it into this black eyeshadow. Just the tip. And then I will extend the eyebrow out like that. You can like barely see it, but it just makes it look more finished, I think. Because those stencils are made for humans, not drag queens. And then I'll just go in and gently, very carefully, so I don't mess up where I did the highlight, was fill in these brows to make them darker. And then I'll keep them a little bit lighter at the end. So once my eyebrows are fixed, I've let this powder sit for about 5 minutes. I'm just gonna brush it away. It just helps reinforce the highlight. And then to reinforce it even more, I'm gonna take my white eyeshadow, make sure my brush is nice and clean. Gonna dip it in. And then just in the corners of the eye, to really kind of reinforce that bright white. A little here, a little bit here, and then a little bit on my nose. That'll go up like that. Ooh, okay. Once that is done, I then take what I used to cut the crease with. Actually, once that's done, I will spray again. I find that every time I add a lot of powder, I like to do setting spray, so everything kind of stays where it is, whew, and kind of like melds together. Then I will take the white that we used to cut the crease. I will wet it a little bit with water. Not too much. Then I like to take the smallest brush I have. I take the back of it, dip it in, and then I dot my nose right in the middle, like that. And then I'll dot it again, dot it right above where I just did that, and then drag it up, like that. And that's my nose. Okay, now it's time to do the bottom of the eyes. Dear God. All right, start off, I take my black Miron, spray a little bit, and I take my very tiny angled brush, dip it in again, just the tip. And I will line just my eye, like my normal eye right here. You can definitely do this with eyeliner, but I think if you have something like the Miron paint pot, I don't really think you need eyeliner, because this does the exact same thing. You can make it as thick as you want. I usually will do like that. That's pretty thick, right? And then just wait for it to dry for a second so you don't get it on your eye makeup. And it just kind of adds a depth. See how this has more depth? And then also it gives the illusion of eyeliner without having to do eyeliner, which can be a pain in the ass. So again, just this part. It really doesn't have to be perfect because I will put on lashes. Again, it adds like a depth that doesn't exist without it, if that makes sense. And then I will take it and I'll just kind of clean up this, make sure it's very sharp. And there you go. Now you have eyeliner without having to fuss with eyeliner, which, in my opinion, is awesome. So once the eyeliner is done, sometimes, like throughout the process, the crease will become a little less defined. So sometimes I'll just go back in with the white and just kind of clean it up a little bit. Not like a ton, but like you can see here, I don't know if you can see like some eyeshadow kind of blended in or bled into the white. And I just want to keep that white super crisp. So sometimes, and like don't be afraid to go back in and fix things. Like no one's saying like this has to be like a one and done perfect. Like it never is. You can go back and fix shit if you need to. Like that, okay. Now we're gonna do the under eyes. So I did the eyeliner, and then a lot of the times I will do like, you know, a big under eye, like here. But in order to keep it simple, we're gonna keep it simple. So we're gonna take a black eyeliner pen. Literally any black eyeliner pencil will work. It doesn't have to be fancy. This one is Maybelline Infallible. No wait, Revlon Infallible. No, L'Oreal. There we go. L'Oreal Infallible. I like to take my powder puff, just so I don't get a fingerprint. And we're just gonna line the waterline. Super easy. If you wanna create, you know, the illusion of a bigger eye, you definitely can. By taking the white down further. But in the name of keeping this super simple, we're just gonna do black eyeliner. We're gonna do a James Mansfield instead of a Trixie Mattel. And just bring it to the corner like that. Ooh. And there you go. All right. Then we're gonna take our very skinny angled brush, and we're gonna take our black, oh my god, here it is. We're gonna spray it a little bit. And again, this is also totally optional. You don't have to do this, but I think it adds something. We're gonna take our angled brush and just create that like, that pointed line, like that. Beautiful. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be huge. You can do it as big or as small as you'd like. I usually just take the brush and just stamp it in and then fill it in from there. And there we go. Then we're going to take a small fluffy brush like this one, and we're going to take some black eyeshadow, tap it off, make sure you tap off the excess so it doesn't fall off. You can put some translucent powder like here. Hello. Speaking of which. You can put some translucent powder like across the bridge of your nose and stuff to keep from fallout, but we're not using a ton. As long as you tap it off, you should be good. And then we're just gonna connect the wing to the bottom eyes, like this. And create that like smoky look. That's why I said earlier, like it's not necessary to like cut the eye makeup with a makeup wipe like I did. You don't have to do that. I like to, but since you're smoking it out anyway, I don't think it's not super necessary. Ooh, ow. And again, make sure you don't poke yourself in the eye. So we're filling in, and then we're just gonna take it along the lash line and just smoke it out. Almost to the corner, but not all the way. And don't be afraid of the black eyeshadow. Like, don't be afraid. It's not, you're not gonna look like a raccoon. Like, black eyeshadow just kind of brings everything together, I think. So we're just smoking it out. Okay, and then once that's done, take your fluffy brush, wipe off any excess that you have on it. Ooh. Take that light blue that we use in the eyes, pick up some pigment, make sure you really tap it off so you don't get fallout. And then again, where the blue and the black meet, or the black and the, like, your skin meet, we're just gonna keep smoking it out with the blue. Again, this isn't super necessary, you don't have to do this part, but I like to bring everything on top to the bottom. And like I said, we're doing drag makeup, we're not doing like fantasy beauty makeup. This is drag, baby. So I kept the blue eyeshadow mostly kind of in the corner here, and then along the bottom here. I didn't bring it all the way in. And if you find you've gone too far, or like you have too much blue, you can take your setting powder and just kind of dab it and then wipe away the excess, and that kind of helps diffuse it a little bit. I'm gonna actually bring it to the, not to the corner, but just under the eye like this. Next is blush. We obviously need some color back in our face. I am a huge fan of using eyeshadow for blush. Literally any blush will work, but you want something that's super pigmented. Otherwise it's not gonna show up. And eyeshadow is always super pigmented. Don't bother with like the drugstore, like little CoverGirl Maybelline ones. Like they aren't usually pigmented enough. So I usually just go in with whatever eyeshadow palette I have. I just pick up some pinks and some oranges. Like I'm not like super like precious about it. And I start here in the pocket of the cheek because I don't want it to go crazy. And then I like to bring it up and kind of under. I don't bring it really anywhere else except the pocket, and then up a little bit, and then under the eye a little bit. I don't keep it. I don't put it here. I don't like the way that looks. You can try. I'm not a fan. It does look a little John Wayne Gacy when you do pink blush with blue eyeshadow, but again, how you doing drag. And then tip the nose if you want. Next, I will do highlight, and I love highlight. I just put it right here on the cheeks. Like my natural cheekbones to kind of make everything pop. My favorite drugstore is the Maybelline Master Holograph, but as you can see, mine is absolutely beat to shit, so I can't even use it because it's too powdery. I do have the Kimchi Liquid Pearl, which I love, so I'm gonna put on a little bit of that. But literally any drugstore highlight will do. I would say anything that's like super, like, you don't want to, like, you know, again, you're not looking for you're not looking for beauty like a beauty YouTuber would have. You're doing drag, so put it on, make it strong. That's why I love the holographic Maybelline, because it's very bright. It's almost like pearlescent. But anytime I do a powder highlight, I spray my face first, and then I'm gonna use this Kimchi Pearl Gone Wild. Gonna clean off my finger. So you can see where I put the liquid, which isn't necessary. You don't have to do both. Powder, just powder is fine. I just really love highlighter, so I like to overindulge on the highlighter. All right, so a little bit of this on my fingers, and just right. You can use a brush, but since we have limited brushes, your finger is completely fine. You do not need a brush. And there, see, ooh, so shiny. Oh! And then you can put a little bit on the tip of your nose if you want, like that. Ooh. Okay, now that I have the highlight done, I'm gonna color in my beard, because it's starting to look a little crazy. So I, again, used the black Mayron paint pot, did it a little bit wet. I used one of these little acrylic brushes. They're on Amazon. You can get like 10 of them for like $5. And then I just take this and just slowly start to color in my beard. Like so. Until this kind of starts to add a much needed definition to my face. Gabriel the Queen, I know they use different colors of these to color in their beard. I usually just stick with the black, and I kind of just color it in wherever I have the facial hair. You know, up to here, like that. I do have facial hair here, I don't know if you can tell, but I don't usually color that in. I just kind of leave that be. Sometimes I shave it. I don't really think it's important. You really can't see it anyway. So I just kind of color it in, and then once I have like most of it colored in, I will then kind of go back in and just try to make it look like a beard. But again, it doesn't need to be perfect. And if you're a bearded queen like I am, which hopefully you are if you're watching this, I mean, there's a million different ways you can do your beard. Some people do it very like cartoony where it's like perfect. Some people just color in what they have. I kind of just color in what I have. And whatever I don't like, I just kind of pat out. And there we go. That's just what I do. I bring it right under there. Patty pat pat. And that's it. The last thing before eyelashes is lips. So I will take, now I do a black and red lip most of the time. I just like the way a black and red lip looks. You can do whatever color you want. I do recommend doing like, you know, a dark lip liner and then a lighter lipstick. I just think it adds dimension, but go off queen, do whatever you want. I use the same eyeliner that I used here. Oh no, my eyes are watering and I'm starting to get, okay. I just use the same eyeliner I used and use it for my lips. Since you really can't see my lips, it's because of the beard, the top ones, I just kind of overdraw a little bit because the beard kind of acts like a lip liner almost. And then you can take this down as big as you want. I usually like will just kind of look straight ahead. I don't want like you. Despite what I look like, I don't want giant clown lips. So I usually just kind of like between like my chin and my lip, do a line and then just bring it up like that. And then I will take, again, the Mehron paint pot. Love it. I will get it a little bit wet. I will just kind of take the corners to where my mustache is and down like that. And then I fill in the ends like that. Ooh. If you do mess up, like I did there, you can just use a little bit of foundation with your concealer brush to clean it up. And then just put a little bit of translucent powder on it. And then I go in, I use this liquid catsuit Mega Last by, I don't even know what this brand this is. It's called Missy and Fierce. Liquid catsuit Mega Last. Oh, Wet n Wild, there we go, okay. I like it because it's like super bright. And then I just, in the middle, down, wipe it off a little bit. And then I kind of blend it into the edges, like that. And then I will take my big fluffy brush, or the brush I used for the eyeshadow under my eyes. I will take a little bit of the black, and then just on the corners, reinforce that black, and really get that ombre in there. And that's kind of it. I'm gonna put lashes on and a wig, and be back with the final result. And here is the final look. I did some mascara, lashes, put a wig on. This wig is too small if you can't tell. But I made it like a year ago. I never wore it, so. Ooh, what is she giving? All these diamonds? Ooh. Anyway, I hope this tutorial was helpful. I hope you learned something. Like I said, I tried to make it as simple as possible, especially for you queens, especially you bearded queens who are going out in drag for the first time this Pride. I hope this really helped. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. I'm super happy and love answering questions, so super happy to answer them. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully I will have more content soon. I really like doing this. I'm just like in my house alone, like in half drag, and I love it. So until next time, see you later.